Hi everyone, welcome back to FPL Moneyball, where we use data analysis to find the best players for your fantasy Premier League teams. Today we'll be doing a Game Week 5 review in which the big man Erling Haaland scored again, and congratulations to all those people who captained him this game week. So without further ado, let's take a look at my team selection this week. So he scored a total of 45 points this game week, which is slightly higher than the average of 42 points. The defense, everyone blanked except for Senesi, who scored 9 points and continued his strong form of defensive contributions as Bournemouth drew against Newcastle 0-0. The Arsenal defense conceded against Haaland but kept the rest of the team relatively quiet. In midfield, we did see both Enzo and Grealish get 1 point each, while Semenyo scored defensive contributions against the 0-0 draw against Liverpool, and Bruno Fernandes came away with 10 points with a goal and a few bonus points as Man United won against 10-man Chelsea 2-1. So the game was very exciting, and the two red cards meant that the game was much more open and allowed Bruno and Man U to score a few goals against Chelsea. For the forward line, João Pedro, who also played in the game, blanked, and he was my captain this game week. I thought that he would perform well against a very leaky Manchester United defense, but the red card kind of ruined it for Chelsea, and they were forced to play very defensive and make defensive substitutions following the red card, which definitely impacted his performance in the game. My last forward, Erling Haaland, scored 9 points, came away with a goal and 3 bonus points against Arsenal, which is a very good performance for him given that Arsenal's backline has been very solid this season. So if I captained Haaland, I would have gotten an extra 14 points. So in hindsight, that would have been the better move to stick with Haaland, but I gambled and went with João Pedro, and that did not pay off for me. On my bench, Dubravka scored 4 points, making a couple of saves to earn a few extra points. Dango came off as a sub, earning 1 point. Chalobah scored against Manchester United, which is pretty surprising given that he doesn't score much goals. And Livramento had a clean sheet against Bournemouth in the 0-0 draw. So now let's take a look at some of the match weeks and recap the player performance. First was Arsenal's 1-1 draw against Manchester City. Let's take a look at their lineup and the number of fantasy points they scored. So Haaland scored 1 goal with 3 bonus points, and Ryan Diaz provided the assist for him, and so he scored 7 points plus 2 bonus points. So I do think that Ryan Diaz looks like a pretty good option given that he's only costing for 5.7 million. We thought that he might take a while to get used to the Premier League, and he definitely does have that opportunity going forward, and also depending on the system that Pep plays, of course, with Rodri now back, Ryan Diaz can take on more further advanced positions with Rodri in the defensive midfield. Man City's defense also looks much better with the introduction of Donnarumma, and City almost kept the clean sheet against Arsenal if not for the late goal by Martinelli in the 90th minute, which ruined their clean sheet. So I think for me, the standout option among the Man City's defense would be O'Reilly at left back, who actually came off before the goal was conceded, so he scored 6 points this game week. But I do think at 4.9 million, he's the cheapest among the City defense, and he could offer some clean sheets given their favorable run of form. So taking a look at the expected goals and assists, I mean, there's only one person leading this table, which is Erling Haaland, and he definitely, although he was kept relatively more quiet with 0.53 expected goals plus assists, he still is the top performer among the table, and as the fixtures improve, I do think that he will get more chances going forward. So the next game was the 2-1 win from Manchester United against Chelsea. 2 early red cards in the first half, one from the goalkeeper Sanchez and one from Casemiro. So taking a look at the points scored by the players this game week, Fernandes got the goal and 3 bonus points, allowing him to score 10 points. while Maguire also bagged an assist and scored 2 bonus points. So the goal scorer from Chelsea was Chalobah with 6 points in total. So taking a look at the expected goals and assists, Bruno Fernandes ranks the top among the players over here. Um, I think he and Mbeumo are the standout options for Manchester United attack if you're considering choosing a Man U player. Fernandes is slightly more favorable as he does have the ability for defensive contributions, and also he's on penalties, improving his XGA per 90 minutes. So the next fixture was Liverpool against Everton, their Merseyside derby, which Liverpool won 2-1. The players that scored a goal were Gravenberch and Ekatike for Liverpool and Gay for Everton. So the stand-up performer here, and he was also in the team of the week, was Gravenberch with a goal and assist, scoring 12 plus 3 bonus points. Ekatike also scored a goal and had 2 bonus points, while Salah came away with an assist, continuing to score a few mediocre points this season. Given that his price tag is at 14.5 million, it's a bit hard to justify at the moment if you want to make a move for Salah. But taking a look at the expected goals plus assists, it wasn't a very good performance by Liverpool again. No one above 0.5 xg plus xa. So the closest that came was Ekatike with 0.38. And he does look like he's going to continue to maintain the starting position, although there's some competition from Isak. I think given that his form this season, he really is proving that he is still the top pick despite the Liverpool having paid over $100 million for Isak. So very impressive from him, and we'll continue to see whether he gets more or less minutes as Isak gets more match fit. The next game was a Brighton 2-2 draw against Tottenham. I expected the teams to score a lot of goals because Brighton, they are very good going forward, but they're also very leaky at the back. So it's a very open game where it was hard to separate both the sides, and a draw was probably the best result. So for the points wise, Richarlison came away with a goal and 3 bonus points, scoring 9 points as he was given the full 90 minutes to play this game, although it might not be so certain going forward given that Spurs do have a lot of options. Kudus also came away with an assist and 7 points this game, which was pretty impressive as he continues to score to provide returns for managers this season. Taking a look at the players-wise expected goals and assists, Richarlison, the standout here with an impressive 0.81, which is pretty good given that Spurs haven't or aren't the best in terms of breaking down defenses, and they have a lot of rotation going on. So 0.81 xg is one of the top performers this game week, I think, among all the matches that were played. So next was West Ham against Crystal Palace, where Crystal Palace edged it 2-1. Bowen scored for West Ham, while Mateta and Mitchell scored for Crystal Palace. So Mateta scored 6 points, Mitchell with 7 points and 1 bonus point, and Bowen with 9 points. Diouf also came away with an assist this game for people who still have him, but most people probably have him on the bench. But impressive that Bowen continues to score. Even on the right wing, he can play on various different positions, which makes him a very valuable asset to the team. So taking a look at the expected goals and assists, Mateta continues to get big chances and scores them. So I think he does have a couple of more difficult fixtures going forward, so it might be harder to convert and get as many big chances. But for those who still own him, he could be one to keep, as he has a strong track record for scoring goals, not just this season but last season as well. Next game was a 0-0 draw between Bournemouth and Newcastle, which I did not expect. I expected Bournemouth actually to provide the attacking threat and continue their strong run of form going forward, but they were held to a 0-0 draw by Newcastle. So the defense shined over here with Senesi getting 2 defensive contributions and 1 bonus point. For Newcastle, they also came away with a clean sheet. Livramento getting a clean sheet, and they're actually playing a 5 at the back. This match against Bournemouth, which is not their usual 4 at the back formation. So interesting to see how their shape adapts as Eddie Howe continues to experiment with the team. Looking at the expected goals and assists chart, Newcastle were limited very much. Actually, both sides were very limited, had very limited chances, and they didn't convert their chances this game. So not much for standout here. I think the defenses really shined in this game. The next game was Burnley versus Nottingham Forest 1-1. The goal scorers were Anthony for Burnley and Nico Williams for Nottingham. So we did see Nico Williams come away with 10 points this game week. Anthony also 10 points, and Foster with the assist and 6 points. So actually, Anthony could be one to look out for, and I'll include him in my players to look out for the next game week. He scored the highest expected goals and expected assists, and he's only costing 5.5 million, so definitely a good budget option in the midfield if you're looking to spend your money elsewhere. And so we'll do more in-depth analysis on Anthony later on this game week. Chris Wood was the next best player, although I didn't really see the match. He did have the second highest expected goals and assists, although he's not scoring the goals at the moment, so he's not really returning for managers, and I'll still probably avoid him at this point. So I'll quickly run through the next few matches. Wolves lost 3-1 against Leeds United. For the lineup wise, Dutch came away with 15 points, the highest of the season. Their new striker, Calvert-Lewin, scoring 11 points. And expected goals and assists wise, these are the players that ranked the highest. Next game was Fulham versus Brentford. Fulham won 3-1, sorry. And for the lineup wise, Iwobi was the standout performer here, 10 plus 3 points with a goal and assist. Muniz with an assist, and Harry Wilson with another goal. So players that were the top in the XG were Alex Iwobi in this case. Last game was Sunderland versus Aston Villa 1-1. Aston Villa's form continues to be very terrible. And looking at these stats, it also does show over here the top player was Wilson Isidore, who is also a very budget-friendly option in the forward, and I'll also cover him in my next game week 6 preview with 0.62 expected goals and assists. Interesting how Sunderland have performed very well this season. They are currently sitting 7th in the Premier League, so hopefully they can continue their good run of form, and take a look at some of the options for the newly promoted teams, which I mentioned just now. Jadon Anthony from Burnley and Isidore from Sunderland could be good picks this season for the newly promoted side. So lastly, we'll take a look at the team of the week. We have Nick Pope for Newcastle. As I mentioned in my preview, Newcastle have now jumped to the top defense in the league. For the defenders wise, Aston Villa defender Matty Cash, Nico Williams from Forest, Harry Maguire from United, all made it to the team of the week. Midfielders wise, we did have a few of them in double-digit returns, and Bruno Fernandes was the one that I owned in this case. For the forward, there's not much, not as good as the other two positions. That the top players were Calvert-Lewin and Isidore from Sunderland. So that's it for my game week 5 recap. Although we didn't score a lot of points, it was still higher than the average, and if I made the right options on my bench and captain, I could have scored even higher points. I could have scored 74 points if everything went right, but it didn't. So stay tuned and like and subscribe for my next Game Week 6 preview, which I'll release later on this week. Thank you.